All right, we are back on Morning Line. Look, musical chairs. We have a new guest this morning, shifting gears to talk about something that I'm interested in learning much more about. Tom Truitt is with me this morning. He was trying to fill me in during the commercial break. He is the CEO of MusicRowSearch, and we're going to talk about this creation known as Who Knew. Started back in January, you said?
January 29th was our first event.
All right.
We've now had 4.
And you have another one coming up.
Next Thursday at 3rd and Lindsley. And essentially what Who Knew is a networking event focused on innovation and the music industry.
Okay.
And in order to come, you don't have to be in the music industry, but we certainly are appealing to people in the music industry. And it was started as a little bit of Shark Tank and a little bit of TED Talk and a little bit of speed dating.
Okay.
And what makes it unique, well, it has been fabulous. And honestly, when we started it, we didn't know how it may go or how many people may be interested. And the very first one in January, 180 people showed up. So we were like, wow.
Yeah, now you came up with, it's a natural for you. You are a headhunter.
Yes.
So you're someone who places talent, match them up with employers, and is that?
I place music executives.
Music executives.
I don't do anything on the talent side of the industry.
Well, I guess when I said talent, I guess people with skills, and music executives. All right, so you do that. So the idea of this was to bring what? I like the analogy, Shark Tank and speed dating, all this to a location. Who is this for? Who attends?
Well, there's 2 audiences we're trying to appeal to. One is the ticket buyers themselves, and this is a complete mashup of the music industry. In other words, in the room, last July 22nd was our most previous event. We had 410 people, and it was a complete mashup of the industry. We had 30-year music veterans sitting next to newly minted Belmont interns. We had music publishers, working musicians, songwriters, you name it. Every walk of life of the music industry is represented in the audience. The second audience we want to appeal to are the speakers themselves, and really that's the secret sauce.
So there will be speakers at these events. That's what they're coming for, not just to network and hobnob with each other. Okay, talk about the speakers.
Exactly, and the speakers are what draw them in. And these are speakers that in many cases are totally inaccessible to this audience. In other words, these are speakers from very high profile companies and jobs and people, you know, that we tend not to be, won't have an opportunity to meet very often. So for instance, in April we had the head of music industry relations from Spotify, a gentleman named Steve Savaka. And he came down from New York, and Steve came down to speak about what Spotify is doing to help artists, you know, gain traction in their careers. Because if you sit back and read nothing but the press, you know, supposedly all Spotify is doing is screwing artists. Well, we wanted to give Spotify the opportunity to tell their story of how they're helping artists. And it was very warmly received. Next Thursday, we're having Steve's counterpart from Pandora come, a gentleman named Lars Murray. So these are 2 gentlemen from very high-profile companies, big jobs, coming to Nashville to speak on their dime and on their time. And they're doing so because they realize the benefit of reaching our audience. In essence, what we're trying to really create is the forum that if you want to speak to the Nashville music community, the Who Knew stage is where you want to be.
I see. Okay, and people that are attending it want to hear these wonderful speakers. They're going there. Are they going there, one, to just hear it from the horse's mouth? And I assume there's some exchange as well, a question and answer. You get a chance to meet them. Is it also a networking thing? I mean, people may be interested. You talked about an intern from Belmont or something, maybe looking at meeting some people that could lead to employment? What?
That's the speed dating part of this thing.
That's what I figured.
We open the doors at 5:30 for an hour of networking, and it is very aggressive networking. And the business card swapping.
Bring your resume in certain situations? I don't know. I mean, what?
I've had a number of people get back to me after the event thanking me for putting it on because they've either been hired for a job, they've gotten an internship, they're now writing songs together. At the end of the day, my job as a headhunter is to connect people. My job is to put people together, companies together with companies, people together with companies. And what Who Knew really is a forum to do that in person. You know, today, too much of our connecting takes place over a computer and a device. Not enough of it is like this. And so what I wanted to create is a forum where people can interact face-to-face on an interpersonal basis.
And this forum and what you've set up with Who Knew is exclusively music. I mean, it's dealing with the music industry.
Right.
You see, I'm sure, as this thing continues to see success, the opportunities here to expand beyond this.
Oh, yeah.
And right now, are you only in Nashville?
Right. We've been contacted by 2 other cities that have expressed an interest in having us come and do one.
Like the music side of things? Well, let me guess, Austin.
No. Actually, Virginia Beach, Virginia was the first one that reached out, and they don't have a music scene per se, but they've got a lot of cool innovation going on, and they realize the power and wisdom of doing something like Who Knew Virginia Beach?
I'm trying to think, because I mean, the concept that you have seems familiar to me in the sense that, I mean, there are oftentimes organizations that bring speakers in and people go to hear them. I'm trying to get the handle, I think I have a sense of it, of why Who Knew is different than that. I mean, speakers come to town all the time, and you can go hear them and all of that.
2 things. First off, we put our speakers into the audience. We give accessibility to the audience.
That's a biggie. I mean, that's part of the deal, that they're going to maybe afterward, what do you mean? After they're done talking?
An opportunity to meet Steve
They're
Smoke.
hobnobbing.
They're hobnobbing. They're rubbing elbows. They're exchanging business cards. It's an opportunity to advance one's career by being in the room with that person.
Okay, and not just that person, but obviously the others. All right, what else? What else in your mind besides the interaction?
There is such a thirst for interest in the music industry. Let's face it, the industry is continuing to evolve and in some cases devolve. And this is an opportunity to learn about what's happening in the industry today, and we ask all of our speakers to make predictions about what's going to happen. And so, at the end of the day, the most interesting thing about the whole thing to me is the perfect blend of information and inspiration. We want these speakers to provide information about what they do, how they got where they are, what they see ahead, and at the same time inspire those in the audience to keep at it. If you want a career in the music industry, there's plenty of opportunity. You just have to pick your spots and be very aggressive.
Well, yeah, aggressive, and you just know how competitive it is. So any edge you can get, something like this, people would just jump at it, I would think. Now, you're the CEO of this, so are you the creator? And I guess you saw the opportunity as a headhunter. So now, are you right now working on the next, I mean, are you the one that goes through and vets who your next speaker is going to be? And
That's actually become the easiest part of this whole thing. And the folks that helped me sort of launch this, we all predicted that if we did 1 or 2 of these well, my phone would ring off the hook.
From people that want to come?
Absolutely.
Really? I mean, from Spotify, I mean, it's not like they need to come do this.
Well, in essence, they did, and here's why.
Oh, to explain.
If you just read nothing but the press, you would form the conclusion that Spotify is ruining the careers of artists. Honestly, nothing could be further from the truth. We gave Spotify the forum to come tell their story.
Directly to the people here in Music City.
Right on. And again, what we're trying to create is the forum that if you want to speak to the Nashville music community, our stage is the place to do it.
Yeah.
And it's working.
It is. And so, yeah, you talk about others maybe wanting to do this in their city, but this whole concept, people all around the country would value and recognize what's Nashville and what Nashville is all about with music. So they view this as a window and their opportunity to get in there when maybe they didn't know how they'd do it in the past?
Possibly.
I'm just saying, if I'm in LA and I've heard all this great stuff about Nashville and I'd love to check it out, but I want to learn more about the music industry, I'm not sure what I would do. I could just fly out and start knocking on doors.
That's a long road to hoe.
I know.
Yeah. No, we're creating the opportunity to meet and greet the movers and shakers of the industry. And when you come to the event next Thursday, you'll see what I'm talking about, because there will be icons from the industry sitting next door to, you know, a newbie, if you will.
So talk about the event on Thursday, and then how folks can find out about tickets, what it costs, those types of things.
Well, one of the things that we've done is keep it very affordable. It's $10.
What?
$10.
You gotta be kidding.
Yep.
How are you making any money?
Well, it's honestly not about making money.
Oh, come on.
Well, we're making a little bit of money. We have some sponsors. We've got 3 great sponsors. Dell Nashville is a sponsor. The Arnett Group, which is a technology company out of Milwaukee, is a sponsor. And the reason they're sponsoring us, by the way, is they see great opportunities for the Nashville market for their company and the music industry. So they want to align themselves with this franchise. Stites and Harbison is making a really big push in entertainment law, and they're one of our sponsors. And most excited to announce that our presenting sponsor is MTSU. They're rebranding their entertainment or their music business program as their entertainment and media school. Ken Paulson, the head of the school, is going to speak at next Thursday's event, and they're going to film it for us. That's going to be
okay. So there'll be a DVD of this?
Not a DVD, but it will be available online.
Okay, so you can go to, you were telling me, Facebook page.
MusicRowSearch's Facebook page for tickets and all the information about the speakers. All the information is right there.
And is it a secret, or who's the speaker Thursday?
Well, there's several of them.
Oh, there are?
There are three really big names. One is a gentleman named Steve Schnurr, who runs all music for electronic arts. So if you want to have your music placed into a video game, which is one of the biggest opportunities for artists today, Steve is the global head of music for EA.
Wow.
Secondly,
someone has to do that, right? There's music on video games.
Can you believe he gets paid to do that?
Awesome. You just don't think about those things. But of course, all right, I'm sorry. And the other two?
Lars Murray, who runs music industry relations for Pandora.
Okay.
Next is a gentleman named Benji Rogers, who runs Pledge Music, which is a Kickstarter type program for the music industry.
Okay.
Craig Havinghurst, who is a local music journalist and walking encyclopedia of music knowledge. He's our historian in residence. Anastasia Brown, who is a music supervisor. And Ken Paulson from MTSU.
Do these speakers, do you bring them in, and some of them are local here, as I see, do they get paid to come?
That is one of the coolest things about it. Not a dime.
Come on.
They come on their dime and on their time because they realize the benefit.
The audience they're going to get.
That's right.
That's incredible,
It
man.
is. I left out one speaker. I'm sorry, Mike Butera. Dr. Mike Butera, who has launched the most successful Kickstarter music campaign ever. His company is called Artifon, and they're located here in Nashville. It's a really cool company. And again, we're all about information and inspiration. His story will be very inspiring.
Okay, and this is the time. It's next Thursday from what to what?
5:30 to 8 is the speaking portion of the event.
And they'll each get a few moments up there. That's you're gonna have to squeeze all them in that time.
Well, the total run of show is 5:30 to 6:30 is networking. 6:30 to 8 is the speaking. And then at 8:30 we're having our first ever Who Knew after party. And we're featuring two bands, one Matthew Perryman Jones, and a second one, the Mulligan Brothers from Mobile.
$10 a ticket. Is there a cap on how many people in this right now? Could sell out?
600 people will be very snug. We'd love to have a sellout. We've pretty much sold out the previous event, so we're confident we'll sell this one out. So,
Tom Truitt, I have a feeling I'll be seeing and hearing more about this in the future.
Thank you.
It's fascinating. I mean, that's a news story unto itself. We should get into it. Tom, thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me.
And I'll remind you the information he just gave when we come back to wrap things up right after this. Stay with us.